In today's episode of the Pathway Presents podcast, I have an interesting guest with me here today. And today we're going to deep diving into brand. I'm with Mickey Citarella, and he's heading over from Nextbite. And Nextbite essentially is a digital first virtual restaurant company. This sounds so exciting. We want to really learn about what that actually means, who's using it, and how they can benefit from it. So, Mickey, welcome to the show.
Excellent. Thanks so much for having me.
Awesome. Give us maybe that 360 overview. What is Nextbite all about?
Absolutely. So when I like to talk about Nextbite, I first like to focus on our mission, because that's really core to who we are. And our mission as a company is to become a trusted partner to restaurants everywhere, offering products and services that help restaurants adapt to changing consumer trends and technology. And I'd say at this moment in time, we have two key pillars that support that mission. So one is Ordermark, and that is our technology and software solution that we give to restaurants to help them consolidate their online ordering. And so that was where the company was birthed, because in the past, you had to have a separate tablet in your restaurant for each online ordering system. And when we say online ordering system, that means Uber Eats, DoorDash, Caviar, Grubhub, etc. And it became a nightmare for operators because they'd have to have 1 to 2 employees managing all the orders coming in from those tablets. So what Ordermark does is consolidates all of those ordering systems into one platform that prints on one ticket to make it much easier for you to fulfill digital orders. And then our next platform that we have, which is the more recent addition to our company, is Nextbite. And as you explained well, that is the company that creates virtual restaurant brands that allow restaurants to get incremental revenue utilizing their existing staff, their existing kitchen equipment, and oftentimes their existing SKUs to fulfill delivery orders. So it's a very fun, dynamic, and interesting business model.
Very cool. Could you explain this maybe in layman's terms for people who are not in the restaurant world yet, who are not running a restaurant, but obviously most of our listeners are deep into tech and marketing as well. Maybe, what would change for a restaurant with Nextbite?
So two things will really change. I think one is that they will have this solution that allows them to do delivery easily. So for them, instead of having to upload their menus and work individually with Uber Eats or DoorDash or Grubhub, we consolidate all that information. So they send us the menu, we work on integrating it onto our software, uploading it, and making it so all they really have to do is turn on a tablet in their kitchen. And when someone makes an order, a receipt will print out. Then they need to create the order and a delivery driver picks it up. So they don't have to necessarily deal with all the infrastructure that comes with delivery. And the same thing on the virtual restaurant brands, where a lot of restaurants are realizing what they sell inside their 4 walls as a physical location may not be great for food delivery. So we do all the research, we do all the data analysis, we do all the recipe development and sort of the consumer demand work to ensure that we're giving them delivery options that the consumers know and love, and that will result in extra sales. So we kind of take a lot of the thinking out of this next era of restaurants, which is more technology and delivery focused, and allow them to do what they do best, which is cook food.
Sounds kind of like a restaurant operation system.
Exactly, yes.
Very cool. Okay, awesome. So that gives us a clear insight of what you guys are doing. Obviously, clients are restaurants. Is this more like individual restaurants? Is this chains that you guys are working with? Maybe give us an insight there.
We like to focus in 3 key channels. So first is what we call SMB, so small and medium businesses. Those are more of your mom and pop individual restaurants. That's a key focus. Then we have what we call mid-market. So that's anywhere from 10 plus restaurants that we can help them, and then all the way up to enterprise, with very big restaurant companies that are very savvy from an operational perspective and really have kind of their entire organization in a deeply rooted system and process. So we're going after all 3. I'd say where it started was on the small and medium business, and now we're trying to expand into some of the mid-market and enterprise clients as well.
Okay, very cool. So now, how do those folks get to hear about you guys? And I'm very curious also where you see things are heading sort of in the digital world, because, as we know, a lot of like brick and mortar stores typically are, outreached by outbound in many ways, but, maybe what's in store? Like what is sort of the, digital outreach channels that you guys are and inbound channels that you guys are excited about?
So first and foremost, our strategy is primarily outbound at this point. As you said, Lucas, a lot of it is finding restaurants of the right partners. There's a lot of phone calls, a lot of sort of using different partners to give us some warm leads, and then a lot of truly cold calling, trying to get a conversation started. So our number one largest department within the organization is sales, because it does require a lot of man hours and feet on the street and people on phones. And the other really is word of mouth. And that's something we're very proud of, is we feel very great about our customer service, about our products and our offerings. And restaurant operators love to talk to each other. So as they start talking about this new era of delivery and technology and delivery, we do see a lot of restaurants referring their friends or other owners to us, and that's become a very viable channel as well.
Makes sense. What's your perspective though then on the website in terms of what role does it play in your mind for the growth of the company?
So the website, we've sort of seen from doing some journey mapping, is it plays really two key roles for us. One is informing potential customers about who we are, what we offer, and how we can benefit them. And then the other, which I think came as a surprise, is it's very important from an employer brand perspective as well in attracting talent. So when you're wanting to work somewhere, and I think especially in tech, where it is very competitive, it's very difficult to find talent, the website has to speak so much to how it can help employees as well. So those are the two key focuses of our website, is first and foremost, making sure the customer really understands our benefit and how we can provide a great solution to them. And then the second is making sure if talent wants to join for us, they understand that benefit and feel like they have to come work for us.
Gotcha. I see. I mean, I like to ask this question, and I'm curious also because you're coming obviously with a brand specific angle into the conversation. The critical eye on the website, where do you see sort of the major strength versus where do you see the biggest room for improvement?
I think for us, for the website is a great strength is there's a lot of information. You can find out about what we do. I do think what we need to do better is really understand and articulate our perspective. What makes us different? What makes us the solution that you should move forward with? So less about sort of telling what we are and a bit more about selling why you should work with us.
Makes a whole lot of sense. Cool. Is that actually, I'm just curious, is that something that you would actually be involved with? Because with sometimes, we really love to learn about the roles as well. And so that people can also understand roles is like, what does, brand and integrity mean at Nextbite? Is that being hands-on in these types of topics, or would you have more like a sort of, bird's eye perspective?
It's interesting. So I'd be involved, but more at a periphery on this one. That's what's interesting with our model is we have a B2B solution with Ordermark and Nextbite, but then we also need to make business to consumer brands that the restaurants are selling to consumers. So where my biggest involvement is the virtual restaurant brands that we're creating. So I'm the person that understands culinary trends, consumer trends, and then the capabilities of our potential partners, and try and meld those together to create breakthrough virtual restaurant brands that will result in great profits for our partners and our customers, and also will resonate well with consumers. And I'd say with that skill set, I've become involved in some of our rebranding efforts and helping with our B2B marketing. But we have a whole team there as well that's really focused on lead gen and the story that we're telling to our potential customers.
Very cool. Let's switch gears a little bit. I would love to learn about sort of your perspective on brand building in general. I mean, there's so much content out there, and we have obviously a lot of founders listening in as well who, everybody has to somehow build brand, right, in order to sustain. What's your favorite go-to places? Like, where do you educate yourself about sort of, brand building experiences, frameworks? What's your places? What's your peer groups? Where do you read? Maybe you can give folks a little bit of an advice there.
Absolutely. And as a background, I spent the first 10 years of my life doing brand consulting for a lot of large organizations, primarily in food, so consumer packaged goods, restaurants, etc. So worked alongside 150 brand builders and really built a solid foundation there in terms of knowledge base and learning from people and different organizations and how they approach it. In my day-to-day life, I love reading thought leadership from interesting folks. So Medium is one of my favorite places to go. I like to search brand and really understand how different people are defining what a brand is, how they're activating to create great brands, and get and glean inspiration from that. Because with branding, it's more of an art than it is a science. So the more information you can gather and collect to form your own opinion, the more successful I think you'll be as a brand builder.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. Since we're slowly approaching the end of the interview, I would have some rapid fire questions for you. Are you ready for those?
I think so.
Very cool. What is the last book that you read?
The last book that I read was called A Little Life, and it was one of the most intense novels I have ever read. I hung on to every word. It took me 2 months to read. Normally, I'm a very fast reader just because it was so intense.
Wow.
So
very cool. What is one single thing that your company is focused on the most at the moment?
I'd say the thing our company is focused on the most is really living our values. So we are fortunate enough to get a ton of funding to make a big impact in this space. And what we realized is we need to attract and retain the right talent and scale and grow very quickly while maintaining a great value system and culture. So I'd say our mantra that guides our company is that we care more. And we try and make sure that manifests in everything that we do. So as an organization, we care more about our employees and their success and their health and their happiness and their growth in their career. We also care more about our customers than our competitors or other people in the industry. We really try to put them first, approach all of our solutions and interactions with empathy to make sure that they really feel the love that comes for us. So I could go into a lot of business strategy and things that we're doing, but I really think our special sauce is the fact that we care more and that manifests in every interaction that we have.
Very good. If there would be no boundaries in technology, right? So everything would be possible. What's the one thing you would fix for your role today?
There were no boundaries at all and there's no technology. I would love to have a solution where a restaurant could just answer a few simple questions and then we could spit out, this is the virtual restaurant brand you should run. This is the amount of money it will make you. This is why it works. So you almost take the selling out of it and we're just telling people here's the right solution and we can guarantee this would work. That would be my ideal product for this.
Very good. As the very last question, I want to do a little bit of time travel with you and go back to the University of Colorado at Boulder. So I want to basically ask you, you're just getting out of university. You have the world of brand building in front of you. What's the one advice that you would give yourself?
I would give myself the advice of always be curious and always be confident. Where I think a lot of times the best solutions for you personally come from a time where you never feel like you're an expert. You're always exploring, but then you also confidently deliver your recommendations. So I feel like in your career at the beginning, you have tons of curiosity, but you lack confidence. And as you start to become more of an expert, you start to lose that curiosity and start to have too much confidence. So I always try and blend those two together to make sure I'm staying both curious and confident to succeed in my role. So that'd be the advice
I think it's a very hands-on like framework. I think it makes it very tangible. Very cool. Mickey, I really appreciate you took the time with us today and shared more about the world of Nextbite. I want to give you the very last word. If somebody would be forgetting all that we discussed about Nextbite, what's the one thing that they should be remembering?
Remember that as an organization, we care more and all of our success is going to come from that secret sauce.
Thanks a lot for being a guest on Pathmark Presents.
Thank you.